Alrighty, guys, what is going on? My name is Tubby Emu. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view is in the bag. This is the full results video. I'm going to go match by match and break it down. There's going to be some people that really hate the man on the left, but just hold it. We're going to talk about it, break it down. Let's start off with a pre-show. Daniel Bryan comes out, and like I said, if you watch my preview for Daniel Bryan, WWE has invested a lot into, and a lot of people saw it as a rise from main event to pre-show. I saw it more as this is a guy they put a lot into. They got to use him sparingly, and they did on the pre-show. They asked him a couple questions, and then Bo Dallas came out. Bo Dallas, yes, if you just believe Daniel Bryan, you can once again climb the ladder of greatness. And I really did love that spot. And then he's like, you're a boner. Calls Bo Dallas a boner. And then, when I thought it was a way for them to start selling more of the Bo Lever t-shirts, Daniel Bryan goes, Bo, leave. And that's been an NXT shirt. If you guys watch NXT, Bo Dallas gets told by the crowd all the time he got carried out and everything. Bo, leave. It's a really, really good shirt. I like it. So, Daniel Bryan, kind of uneventful pre-show. They still did not drink the fucking Kickstarter Diet Mountain Dew. I'm pretty bummed about that. But here we go. Match by match. Let's get into it right now. The Usos taking on the Wyatt family was a very, very good tag team match. There was a lot of spots. It almost seemed like they dived to the outside of the ring too much. They really went back and forth in terms of, how much they really did. And I was a little like, oh, okay. But there was a lot of great spots in the match. They did put on a show. What I was most surprised about in that match was the ending. I was not 100% expecting it. Like, I didn't do a preview on this, unfortunately. But the Usos retained their tag team titles. I was not expecting. I think I tweeted out if you guys were watching or following along. I was joking about it, saying, I couldn't believe it. I put up a GIF or something, and I was not expecting it at all. And I think one of the reasons I wasn't expecting it at all because I was expecting the Wyatt family to go on and have a reign. And it was like the Usos have been a great tag team champion, but, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan are absolutely killing it right now. Why not put the titles on them? But then I realized the Wyatt family are like one and the same. The Wyatt family, especially Bray, he loses, he comes out even more cynical, more crazy. I think the Wyatt family then comes out even more cynical, more crazy. They start to do more stuff. And it's the same reason in the ladder match that we're going to talk about later where people are like, why don't they just give them the titles now? They got to keep working it up. And the Wyatt family's build has been one of my favorites of all time because they started out at SummerSlam with Bray wrestling. They took out Kane. They slowly made their way where Bray was the feature for 2 months, and then Bray took a back seat for 2 months, and the tag team wrestled, and they interchanged back and forth. They became a six-man for a while, and then now they've kind of split up a little bit, doing their own separate thing, and that's what I think makes the Wyatt family so interesting and fun to watch is that the more they get into things, the more different side of them we actually see. And it's one of the things that makes the Wyatt family so intriguing. So we know what Wyatt did when he lost to Cena at Mania. And then he comes out, faces him in the Extreme Rules cage matches and beats him, and then he loses to him. So it'll be very interesting to see what the Wyatt family does, if they'll go after the Usos, if they're done. Who knows? Maybe the Gold Dust or whatever we're calling them, their tag team catches on. The Tag Team Divas match. We had Paige and Naomi. Now, forgive me if I missed something, but the match was actually a little better than I was expecting. There was a bunch of offense. Naomi actually hit the rear view. I thought it was over. No, they kept kicking out. Cameron at a few points in the match kind of smiled at Naomi looking like, oh, girl, and she's getting her ass beat. Like, it should have been me in the title match. So it was very interesting to see. I was expecting them to break up. But in the end, the Cradle DDT from Paige was absolutely fantastic. I've been trying to figure out, moves for her that she could do because, the submission, the Scorpion Deathlock is cool and all. But, in the Paige Turner, a lot of people don't really like the Paige Turner. But that Cradle DDT that she did to Naomi, I was like, yes, Paige, you just sold me on that. I love you. Paige wins with the DDT. And then afterwards, Cameron comes in the ring and hugs Naomi. And I don't know if they broke it up or not. Out next comes the man, the myth, the legend. Actually, right before that, there was not a Damian Sandow. He was coming out next, but it was a promo from Dean Ambrose before the match. Basically said he was coming for Seth Rollins, and the script leaked online and all that good stuff. Out next was Paul Revere. Paul Revere makes his way down to the ring. dropping a promo on everybody, which I enjoyed. I do really like Damian Sandow. A lot of people are giving him shit, but once again, I have to believe it's leading to something, or he's just playing this character role. He's kind of being like the Santino Marella, where he was in WWE for a long time, and that was kind of his staying power. He was the funny guy. I think Damian, in the age of WWE right now, to stick around and have a job at least, he's doing this kind of bullshit role, and I'm fine with it. And then out came Adam Rose, and I was like, oh, not Adam Rose. Adam Rose comes out, and they actually had, and I know a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with me on this, they actually had a pretty decent match. Adam Rose took on Damian Sandow, Paul Revere. I like Damian wrestling in the Paul Revere gear. I really did. I don't know what it was about it, but I did enjoy it, and Adam Rose took quite a beating in the match. Like, Damian looked amazing. Damian, he even hit a finisher. Adam Rose kicked out. Damian Sandow went for the moonsault off the second rope, missed, and then Adam Rose hit the party foul, or whatever it's called, and Adam Rose did beat Damian Sandow. But they did put on a pretty good match, I'm not going to lie. For a surprise match on the card, they actually put on something I enjoyed a little bit, even though I was expecting it to be a squash for Adam. I still thought Sandow looked pretty good. All right, here we go. Then came time for the Money in the Bank ladder match. Now, during the pre-show, they had the WWE World Heavyweight titles above the ring, and I was expecting that to go first until I realized they were just doing that for Daniel to look up at him. We had this match, and this match, I have to say, was pretty good. There was no Wade Barrett. Renee Young did announce on the pre-show that he was injured. He would not be able to compete, so we only had 6 men. Now, there were a lot of spots in this one. I can't recall them all. You're going to have to get the WWE Network for $9.99 a month and make sure to watch this one. But the big stories going into this one was Dean. Like, his main goal was to keep Seth Rollins away from it. He beat the hell out of him. They had a lot of great spots, like a couple of the spots that I can remember off the top of my head. Kofi did a lot of offense pretty fast in the beginning. He had a boom drop where he spun in the ladder, and I think it was to Jack Swagger on the ladder. And then eventually Kofi got zigzagged on a ladder from Dolph Ziggler, and Ziggler hit it too, and I thought that was a pretty cool fucking spot. Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose beating the hell out of each other, and Dean actually had to leave. His shoulder injury that they said got re-aggravated from SmackDown. The doctor actually pulled him out, and they brought him to the back, which you kind of knew it was signaling a run-in, and he was going to come down and kind of stop Seth Rollins at the end, but he did leave, and then everybody else went at it. Rob Van Dam had a bunch of spots in there where he had the 5-star earlier on in the one corner on Jack Swagger. And then later on, they set up a ladder in the corner, and it was, God, I can't remember who it was. Was it Jack Swagger trying to go over? Or was it Rob Van Dam? And he sets up the ladder in the corner towards RVD. He pulls RVD up towards him, and then RVD hits him off, and he goes flying to the ground. But he wasn't able to do anything with it. And then Seth Rollins comes up, and he manages to get RVD out there. And then up comes Dean Ambrose. Jack Swagger hit a power bomb on RVD from the ladder. And then Dean Ambrose runs up, hits a superplex on Seth Rollins from the top of a ladder. Crazy spot. I really did enjoy that one. They did put on a good match. There was a lot more high spots. Obviously, they are the mid-card guys, the guys that are trying to prove themselves, the guys that any one of these could have won the match. I really did enjoy it. Near the end, Kane came out to stop. Kane came out, laid down the hurt on some people, and then Seth Rollins was about to win. Dean Ambrose came out, with a chair, started beating the hell out of Seth Rollins with a chair, pretty much no-sold. He got out of the ring. Then Kane came out, chokeslammed Ambrose, hit a tombstone. He set the ladder up for him, and Seth Rollins climbed to victory, and Seth Rollins is your Money in the Bank winner. So Seth Rollins is, in fact, the guy for the next year that we get to see attempting to cash in. And it'll be very interesting to see how it goes, because if he holds on to it after a face turn, if he stays heel with it, there's a lot of definite possibilities with Seth Rollins. So up next was Goldust and Stardust taking on Ryback. And Curtis Axel, the highlight of this match, Curtis Axel had a new singlet. And a lot of people didn't really like the singlet. I don't know why. Somebody said he looks like Special Ed Axel. I was like, what? I thought he looked pretty good. Ryback, when they were fighting on earlier on, Curtis Axel was getting beat down. He's like, taking the big guy. And then he came out. And I actually enjoyed this one. I don't know if a lot of people did. I thought they had kind of botched the finish where Ryback it was Ryback in the ring, and Stardust is going for the crossroads. It gets reversed. Ryback had him up. He dropped him off. Hits the crossroads on him. Go for the 1, 2, 3. But Curtis actually broke it up. And then Curtis gets up. He's like, was that the finish? And he's like, oh shit. And then he stands up Cody Rhodes or Stardust and goes to clothesline him, but nails Ryback. Ryback goes into the ropes. Curtis Axel goes out of the ring, and then Stardust rolls up Ryback for the win. And afterwards, Curtis Axel lost it, pulled down a thing, started beating the shit out of Stardust. Goldust came in, and they hit the tag team maneuver, which people are going to get mad at me, but I can't remember the name of it. And that basically set up maybe a breakup for Ryback, Curtis Axel. Who knows where it's going to go. Next up was Lana and then 2 other big men who fought, apparently. But no, this match was way better than I thought, and it's what I've said before, where a lot of people don't like Rusev because he hasn't really performed at all. He comes out there, he does like 2 moves, he wins. They put on a very physical match, like the spots, like they scouted each other well. It was a very good big man physical match. It was something I enjoyed watching. In the end, I almost thought Big E was going to break out of it. Big E was on a little bit of a comeback, and then Rusev goes to finish him off, but he ducks it, and he throws him over, brings him back in, but then Rusev out of nowhere hits that kick. He goes for the Lana Crush, and Big E looks like he's going to give up, but no, he fights out of it. He's starting to back up, starting to stand up, but then no, Rusev smashes his back down to the canvas, and Big E had a tap. But a very good big man match. In my honest opinion, I really did enjoy it. Next up, we had the special guest referee match with Fandango and Layla taking on Summer Rae. They were fighting on the pre-show. Not the pre-show, but like right before the match. And I'll be honest, like Fandango looked pretty good as a ref. He had some stupid sparkly thing. And then out came Layla and Summer Rae. Now, the match itself, I don't really remember too much of the spots or anything. But in the end, Layla did get the victory. And it looks like Summer Rae is done. I don't know. I just think this is a total diva storyline. And Layla made out with Fandango in the middle of the ring. I was expecting a Vince Russo swerve where a dude would come out and kiss Fandango. Then came time for the main event, which a lot of people are pissed about. In the match, it's a lot different when you have a match, and this has been the same way for the last 2 or 3 years when they've had it for the Raw Money in the Bank, where you have the mid-carders that are doing all the high-flying spots, a lot of cool stuff, and you have these guys who work a little bit more stiff, they work a little bit more physical, and I actually enjoyed this one. They had a couple of good spots. One of probably the coolest spot was it was like a geometry spot type thing, where they had a ladder set up, they put another ladder in between it, and then Roman picks it up as I think it was Sheamus and Cesaro. Was it Sheamus? Somebody's going to probably yell at me for this. I know one of the guys was Cesaro. And the ladder tips over, and it stands on the other axis, and then they're both, it made it like a taller ladder, and they were still beating the hell out of each other, and then John Cena eventually came back in and tipped it back, and I really did love this spot a couple times. All the guys got back in, were beating the hell out of each other, trying to climb the ladder. It looked like kind of a silly, stupid spot, but, there was, a couple cool instances. One of the, Sheamus tries to set up on the ladder where he got injured, or where he injured Sin Cara a couple years ago, and they brought that up. And then he eventually got DDT'd off that ladder from Randy Orton. In the match, Randy Orton was doing everything he can. The one thing I can tell you, there was blood, and more blood. Randy got busted open. They cleaned him off. But at the end of the match, he was covered in so much blood. Like after, I'm not going to say it just yet, but when the camera panned over, he had so much blood pouring off his face, he was trying to dump a bottle of water on him to get it off. And they had towels sitting there trying. There was so much blood. For those of you guys who were happy, it made it feel like a big feel match. Del Rio missed a couple of the big kicks. Pretty much everybody got their chance to show off. Roman Reigns looked absolutely dominant in this match. A lot of people are going to say that they should have put the title on a new guy. Why the fuck didn't they put a title on a new guy? Roman Reigns looked so dominant in this match. He speared everybody. They teased Roman versus John Cena in a way that I really liked, and it finished with Roman Reigns hitting a spear on Cena. And Roman cleared the house of everybody. He pretty much speared everybody, put everybody through the on a table, and he looked absolutely amazing in this match. And that's still his rise. He's gone from 6-mans that he absolutely stole the show to now this match where he stole the show. And Roman Reigns is still climbing, and I don't think he needs a title just yet. Cesaro looked really good. He had a couple good spots. Sheamus, I even was pretty impressed by Sheamus tonight. Bray Wyatt crawled around the ring, which was kind of a cool little spot. But in the end, it came down. Kane was setting up a ladder for Randy Orton. Randy Orton was climbing, was going to win. John Cena came in at AA'd Kane, took off Randy off the ladder, AA'd him on top of Kane, and then John Cena climbed the ladder for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And I was fine with it. I know a lot of people are pissed off about it. They're like, why didn't they give it to a young guy to let him get a chance to sell out arenas? Winning a title here isn't what's going to get you your big push. And I wish people would realize this. Roman Reigns, if you've looked at his build in the last 6 months, has been absolutely phenomenal. He's shown off in the six-mans. He's now starting to get his one-on-one push. And all members of the Shield, including the two that were in the other ladder match, and one of them that won, looked absolutely dominant. And they're going to be a future main eventer. A title's not going to change that, especially with Brock Lesnar versus Cena. That's a big money draw. And Cena versus Brock, which a lot of people fucking forget at Extreme Rules, was one of the best matches of that year. Like, they really had a great fucking match, regardless if Cena won that match. Now it's coming the other way where Brock Lesnar is more dominant, and it leaves an option for Brock Lesnar to win the title from Cena, and it's not something that we're used to seeing, and I'm excited for it. So those are the results for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view, guys. Let me know what you thought of the pay-per-view in the comment section below. Like I said, I really did enjoy it. Overall, I'd give the pay-per-view about an 8 out of 10, and I'm not a guy that's fussing with Cena because I still see Randy versus Roman at, like, Battlegrounds. Maybe Kane gets involved somehow. You've got John Cena and Triple H having to stare down. Like, they're going to have to go to Plan J, I think Dan Nerdcube said. You had Seth versus Dean still teasing their whole thing. You might get, it's going to be a very good pay-per-view. I think Battleground is going to be a good place to go. And I'm excited for it. So let me know what you guys thought of the pay-per-view in the comment section below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TubbyEmu, guys. I would appreciate it. It's up there on the screen right now. And if you head over to my Twitch page, twitch.tv/TubbyEmu, you can catch my live streams and all that other good stuff. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Money in the Bank is over. Seth Rollins is your current holder of the briefcase.